Hi there. Good evening. Chair's opening remarks, if I can launch straight into this. I am looking out over the experts, so I will say very little. Apart from, if anybody prefers not to be recorded or filmed, please
raise your hand.
Say so.
I didn't put makeup on.
Right, we're okay with that.
So I'm going to go live because we normally put these out. So
Yeah.
everybody happy for me to go live?
Yeah. Okay, we're there. So we've done agenda item number 1. Agenda item number 2, apologies for any absence. Absence received. Do we have any apologies?
I have had 2 or 3 allotment holders who've been very polite and said that they would love to attend but can't.
Right, I will leave it on with that. Number 3, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest. Note this is where you might make money out of something to do with this. For members in respect of business to be transacted on the agenda. Does anybody feel that they have any disclosable pecuniary interest? I don't think so. Well, I don't. No, moving on. Number 4, minutes of the last meeting. There are no minutes. No previous meeting held, so we'll move on from that one. This is getting to be quite a quick march through this. I beg your pardon?
There may not be any minutes, but we did hold it.
Ah, right. Thank you very much.
I couldn't find any records.
But there'll be minutes for next year. Number 5, reports. To receive a verbal report from the town clerk. So over to you.
Hello everyone. You'll have received emails from me, lots I'm sure. I'm Sophie, I'm the town clerk. I know that before I started, Chloe looked after the allotments and she was the assistant clerk, but we swapped a bit around in the office because actually I have a garden, I like gardening, and so I was happy to take it on with the new staff members. It seemed a better fit. So I'm looking after the allotments now. I have got my own veg patch at home. It's not fantastic, but I enjoy it. I'd just like to say I'm sorry, I'm not very well, so I might not be at my super sharpest, so please be kind to me. Equally, I'm learning here. I've taken over the allotments sort of in December. I've never looked after allotments before, so this is really a fact-finding mission for you guys to tell me, you know, and if I don't know the answer to something, I'll just go and say I don't know the answer. I can go away and, you know, find out more and get back to you, basically. The things I'm most concerned about, obviously, it's, you know, it's your guys' allotment, but what I view as important is cultivation, making sure all the allotments are cultivated as much as possible. Not about neatness, but that they are cultivated, because I think you're really lucky to have allotments in Sandwich, and there's people on the waiting list, and if plots aren't being properly cultivated, then somebody who really wants to do that should have the opportunity. And then the other things I think that I've emphasised in the revised terms and conditions that you'll see in a minute, really it's all about, for me, I think it's all about good neighbourliness, making sure that everyone gets on and enjoys their space, you know, in a communal fashion, really. And the other thing that I noticed when I was going through the terms and conditions about sort of the fairness, you know, they're different sites, but that in as much as possible, that the conditions are the same across the Blackdown side, Black Lane and the Sandown site are comparable, if you see what I mean. And that the tenants are treated the same at both sites. Yeah, and finally, the best way to contact me is via email. I think most of you are on the email. There are a couple of allotmenters who are not on the email. I do post them key documents, but if you, obviously post nowadays is not as good as it once was. So if you see, if I've sent out an email and you see somebody who you know not on email, just tell them, if you could give them a verbal update, and there will be stuff coming.
If that's the case, why don't you put it on the notice board up the allotments?
Sorry?
Yeah, there's a notice board up the allotments there, and it's never used.
Okay, thank you.
If any confirmation, but if you put it in there, we can all read it.
Okay.
Sophie,
Yeah.
I'm Dina,
Hello.
and I run our WhatsApp group, but I've talked to quite a lot of people here, and I have a couple of times posted things in our notice boards at the allotments, and I'm happy to, if you ever want to send anything, to go up there, I'm happy to print it out and put it up.
Oh, you are a good contact, thank you. Please, okay, that would make my life a lot easier, thank you. Yeah. Can I get your, I've got your number, Kate, but
I'll see you on.
yeah, cool.
And just one other thing, so, because when you send out the emails to the group,
Yes.
I'm never included on it.
Are you?
No. So these people got all these emails and they're showing it.
Oh, thank you. Right,
Because I think in the group you're using my old email address, and when you send me an email personally, you send my new one.
that's the computer doing the thing. Okay, Colin, change on spreadsheet. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Done. Okay then. If I can just apologise, I didn't introduce myself. Simon Mallet, one of the councillors. Please just refer to me as Simon during if you need to.
Shall I introduce myself as well?
And
Hello, I'm Emmett Chuka. I'm a councillor as well with Simon, but current mayor as well. So good evening.
The 800th mayor. 800.
No, not eight. No, in the 800th years.
800th year, yes. Right. Now to receive a verbal report from the Black Lane representative.
That's me, Colin Fuller, anybody who doesn't know me, but this will be very quick. First and I think most importantly is currently all of our plots are taken, which has not been the case for a number of years, so it's great. And on top of that, we've got a waiting list. We've got lots of new members, and what I've noticed most of all, most of the new members are ladies, which is really good, because when I first went up there was no ladies out there at all. So it's nice. So they're all being used. As Sophie said, there will be inspections because, and we're going to do them 4 times a year, because if they're not being used, we'd like people to have them who want to use them. And seeing that we've got a waiting list, we need to make that happen. Just a couple of other things. I don't know if everybody's aware, but you can get 10% discount at Archer's Low and the Wingham Dip. All you need to do is come in and get a card from the council. And Dina, as she said, up at the Black Lane Allotments has set up a WhatsApp group. If anybody's not on it and wants to be on it, it'll keep you up to date with things. That's a good thing going on. And for the new people, if you've got any spare veg plants or whatever, if you'd just like to put them just inside the gate, that's where we do all our swaps. So lots of veg get swapped about and plants get swapped about. And a couple of proposals we want to talk about later is we want to move where we put the horse muck.
We were talking about that, yeah.
Yeah. So we put it behind the fence so that it's not observed as soon as you come in. And I think Dean's got a plan of what she would like to do with that area there. And for me, is the issue about bonfires. We had a skip in recently, and at least 2/3 of what went in there could have been burnt. So we're paying £475 or whatever it is for a skip, which is an awful lot of money. We stopped having bonfires. We always used to have bonfires. We stopped having bonfires when the new houses were built, because we thought there might be a problem. Now, Chloe, you was here before, not your Chloe, Chloe before we was doing the allotments. The allotments she ran over somewhere in Canyon, they had a policy on bonfires that you could have bonfires between the end of October to the beginning of March, so November, December, January, February, when everybody's got their windows closed or whatever. So I'd like that to be part of where we go for the future. Otherwise we're just wasting a lot of money.
Is there a time of day as well, because it is actually quite warm here.
Yeah.
I would actually have my windows and doors open, so is there
Yeah.
a time of day that you would...
Well, again, that's up for discussion. If you want to say after 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, I don't mind.
Like it's on fire at night when it's winter. Or it's set fire to it.
Well, I can go and do some investigation as to what other people do and what's a good...
Yeah, a lot of other allotments do that. They just do it in the winter months. So, which makes sense to me.
Okay. Thank you,
That's
Colin. Oh, right. And to receive a verbal report from the Sandown Road representative, Susan Harvey.
Hi, that's me. Hi, I'll just tell you a little bit about what we are and where we are, because it's slightly different from Black Lane. We're in Sandown Road, not Lane. And we're situated behind the tennis court, and you can get to it via the shared access that we both have, and it's along the path behind the tennis club. There's a wooden gate, and that's us. There are only, it's a small site, and there are only 7 plots, 7 members, tenants. And each plot averages roughly about 4 by 10 metres. So it's very different from the Black Lane, I believe. We garden using organic practices, meaning that we don't use any synthetic chemicals like herbicides, pesticides, fertilizers. This is not for everyone, but it's an alternative to Black Lane for people that want a small plot and don't want to use, so I know everyone here has got a plot, but word gets about, and that's basically what we do. We have shared facilities. We share a shed and communal seating. What else can I say about it? We grow
compost bin area?
Yeah, we grow.
Compost area, don't we?
Yeah, we've got a dedicated, as Maurice said, we've got an area that's allocated just for composting to keep everything away from the growing site. And we have a roster where we do maintenance, and that's cutting the grass. Once a year we do hedge cutting, things like that. So we're very much involved all together and take an active role, which is not for everyone, but it works for us. And that's about it, really.
Right. Thank you, Susan.
What's the one next to the bowling club then? The other
It's
church?
a church. It belongs to the church.
Oh, does that belong to the church?
Yeah.
Enchanting.
Yes.
Do you have a waiting list or are you got empty plots?
No,
There's-
Right, okay.
Yeah, we're full at the
All the
moment.
allotments are
Oh,
full.
Yeah, well, I didn't know whether it, yeah.
Can I just go back and
Yes.
say one other thing? On our plot, we have one person who keeps all the paths mowing, which is Dave, without any reason. I think we be the state, so
Yeah, he's
many thanks to Dave.
Man, talk to them.
Thank you very much. Right. So, item number 6, terms and conditions. You should see, but in black and white, terms and conditions which have been revised thoroughly. So basically, to receive the updated terms and conditions based on the National Allotment Society recent template. I'll pass you over to Sophie.
I started looking into this. My initial plan was to have one contract that was exactly the same, based off the National Allotment Society contract, and I thought that there we go, and then it's completely equal. Then I started looking at it. I was like, oh no, this isn't going to work, basically, because of the idiosyncrasies of the two sites, the different sizes. One's organic, one's not. Your existing terms and conditions are very much about what actually happens on the sites and how they're run. So I thought that wasn't going to work. So what I did was I worked off the existing terms and conditions, and then I looked at the National Allotment Scheme recommended thing. I went through them both, and where there was stuff that was missing that I thought would actually add to our terms and conditions, I put them in. There was a couple of things where I don't know who or how the existing terms and conditions were constructed. It was well before my time, but where they weren't the same. So, for example, I think the information on unacceptable behaviour was on one of the sites and wasn't on the others, and that wasn't really fair. So why should one site have a list of unacceptable terms and conditions and the other one doesn't? So I basically cut and pasted that so that it's the same for both sites. So the reason I haven't, that's why what I've done is the proposed changes for both sites, which makes it as equal as it can be, and then everything that is in yellow is the same on both sites. So hopefully there's nothing too controversial. The first one, I reduced the sort of the rigidity of the clause on sort of tenancies in Sandwich Town Council. The initial clause says they have to be within Sandwich, but what we've talked about before, about the importance of plots being used and loved and cultivated, I mean, that's that we would prioritise people in Sandwich, but that if there's nobody in Sandwich who wants a plot when a plot becomes vacant, then I think it's a good idea to have that flexibility built in. Any comments on that?
Good idea.
Yeah. We've got quite a few people in Sandwich now
Yeah.
that have come in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
Live local but not in Sandwich, which I've much seen it see them forward.
The feces to be removed and disposed off site, dog poo, I think that seems pretty sensible. The keeping your sheds, greenhouse, polytunnels and other structures in order and not having enough petrol in there to set off a small explosion again, I thought seemed pretty sensible. The council will not be held responsible for loss of accident, fire, theft or damage. I don't know why that wasn't in there before, so I thought that should go in. And then the last two bits, unacceptable behaviour. The allotment garden, this was not included, should not be included for illegal or immoral purposes. That came directly from the National Allotment Society template. I think that's, you know, we don't want to have people having too much fun on their allotment gardens. Just keeping it, you know, proper. So I thought that was a good inclusion. And then this abusive, threatening and antisocial behaviour paragraph, that was on one site but not the other. I can't remember at this point which one it was. So I made sure that that was consistent against both sites so that, you know, it's equitable for both sites. I also, the other slight adaptation I made, such behaviour might be, and then I put in but not exclusively, deemed to be, because it's amazing, you know, I think I just wanted that slight removal of the, if it doesn't fall within these, then it's not, you know, unacceptable behaviour can be any number of things when people do it unacceptably.
And I have a minute, please, sorry to interrupt, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, my wife and I both trod unwittingly in dog turds. Could we have something about people with dogs? If we bring them on the allotment, the dog perform, they clear it up.
That is in there.
Number 2.
So, but it's not being.
I just said it, any feces to be removed and disposed of off-site by tenant.
Not being.
It's actually a privacy issue.
Not being
Okay.
adhered to.
Well, we can go on to that.
Sorry, I didn't realise later on.
Yeah. And then finally, the Appendix 1, reasonable condition. I just thought it was a good idea to slightly codify what reasonable condition was, because it's a very subjective sort of statement. So I think this came off the Sandown site tenancy. New tenants are required to cultivate at least 50% of their plots within the first 4 months and 100% within 8 months. So that was at Sandown, but wasn't applicable at Black Lane. So I thought I'd make that should be consistent against both sites, because it's not fair that one site should have one set of rules and one site should have the other.
Can I just say one thing about that? I do understand it, and it's a good idea, but the plots that are massive up there, I think it would be very hard to get 100% done in 8 months. They are huge, and if, for example, there's one that's got a lot of mare's tail on it.
So can I just say, I'm Kev Martin, plot 25, so I've just taken on a big plot, and it is covered in mare's tail. So I think that there needs to be almost, so is it have to have like a plot inspection first before somebody takes it on. It's still difficult to see if it was so overgrown you couldn't see how much net
And also, certain times of the year it's gone. And the thing is quite deep, like a 4.5 deep, it's still there.
So I agree with the principle. I think
Okay.
it needs an individual approach to site inspection.
So maybe I can change it to I'll put something in about when a plot is taken on, a plan for getting the plot under conservation should be decided with the tenant.
That's exactly what we used to have on ours. A new
Okay.
tenant was given a longer period, depending on what the stage the plot was in. Exactly that.
Okay, I'll amend it then.
That's great.
Can I just make another point? You say about cultivating 100% of the plot within X amount of money. Is cultivating where somebody has a bit of cut grass where they can sit down?
There are specific guidelines, I can't remember off the top of my head. Like I think it's something like 25% is allowed to be for sheds and paths and something. There is actually legal something.
Somewhere where someone can sit and have a cup of tea.
Yeah, because the allotment legislation is very old and very specific. So I think it's something like 25% is allowed to be for paths, sheds, grass, whatever. I don't think. But I think number 2 is really the one for me. At a minimum requirement, the society believes that allotment gardens should be cultivated in a way that does not interfere in a material way with the enjoyment of neighbouring tenants, or is likely to impede the ability of the allotment provider to relet the plot at a later date. I think that's the key, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'll definitely redraft that one.
Okay, and this goes as a, something that we would agree, or we essentially.
I will redraft it and send it out to the registrars.
Yeah. And gentlemen.
In your email, you sent out the tenancy thing, and then you covered this other bit about footpaths with all your highlighting in yellow and everything. It's talking about only 2 sheds, trees only 2.5 metres high and everything. And at this moment in time, there are many structures on several of the allotments and a lot of tall trees. Are we going to let the status quo carry on? I don't have a problem with it. The thing is, somebody might flag that up, particularly new tenants who are only allowed to put up these 2.5 metre by 2 metre.
I mean, I think that comes down to planning law, that is literally planning law, that if anything over 2.5 shouldn't be, there's legal limits of garden sheds.
I would clarify what the rules are, but one of the rules in terms of planning is in a conservation area, which means possibly one might be, one might not, or both might not be. You cannot have a structure above 2.5 metres without planning permission applied for and agreed. So I think it's worth clarifying exactly the rules around.
I think we definitely need to leave it in as a clause in the terms and conditions, because that is the terms and conditions.
Are you going to enforce that?
I couldn't comment on that at this point.
Just the current situation is some of us have more than you're saying can be allowed, which we've got permission for before. So, for example, I've got 4 greenhouses. I cultivate all of them. I've got 3 sheds, where already I've got to start taking stuff down.
I wouldn't,
because we've had permission to do it.
Yeah, so what I wouldn't do is in this meeting be saying actually we're now going to be implementing everything exactly as stated. What we need to do is go through a process, don't we?
Absolutely.
You understand what the rules are,
Yeah.
and then we need to have a conversation about how they might be applied.
What concerns me is that
I know
we can get out of hand.
Thank you. So moving on to agenda item number 7, allotment competitions / social event. To discuss the establishment of an allotment competition and or a social event, then date and format to be considered. I don't know who's going to lead on this one. Where does this come from?
we used to have a yearly competition at our allotments, and that was for large allotments and small allotments, and then someone would come along and judge that and be giving out cups, best large allotment, best small allotment, which was fairly ad hoc. We just chose someone to come and do that. But a lot of people did enjoy that happening, and September was the best time to do it because that's probably when all stuff is doing it. And it did create quite a lot of interest. So I would like to see it reinstated, particularly for some new people who have put a hell of a lot of work into their allotment. It'd be nice to get some sort of recognition.
So maybe we could have large allotment, small allotment, and first year conservation prize. That could be a good one, wouldn't it?
Can I suggest there's possibly mileage in talking to the people that set up the garden, the flower and vegetable show?
Oh, I've got
Probably not.
No? Right.
I have application forms, before you go, I have application forms in my office which I've got to go and get, which are for the flower, from the flower and the vegetable competition.
Yeah. Right. Separately.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's good if it's judged not by someone up there, someone like.
Does anybody know Monty Dom? Who can come?
For example, you've got a garden.
I'm not judging it.
But I don't think, when we had it before, it wasn't as formal as like the allotment society where it's got X amount of this and X amount of that. It's looked at as by ordinary people and judged really on the effort people put in.
Can I suggest as the ideal person, Steve Edney? He's got the gardens down towards Worth. He was he did a talk in St Mary's just recently. And he used to be the head gardener for Salutation and the Cathedral.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I'll give him a call.
So,
Yeah. So if that could be done, I would suggest in September.
Okay. So I'll try and find a date in September. Do you think that Sandown Road would be interested in taking part?
Yeah, I think Boris probably would.
Okay. So I'll look for a date and I'll look for a judger. We've had one suggestion. If anybody knows a very, very unbiased third party.
It's very mysterious because we moved to establish France in 2019, 17 I think, got an allotment, and in 2019 all of a sudden, unbeknownst to us, we were awarded a cup for the best small allotment holders. How it was judged, who we awarded, we have no idea.
Well, I'll have to be under the cover of darkness.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll look for a date and look for a judge. If anybody knows of somebody else other than this one person that's been proposed, if you could email me or whatever, that would be great. If you've got any suggestions.
So what about these Sarah Archer's loan?
Sarah Archer's loan, yeah.
And also Annette and Wigan Country Market.
Yes, that's
They're the people that you get.
sorry, discount.
You get a 10% discount at Archer's Low and so.
So that might be good.
They might be good.
They might see.
Yes.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Right. Well.
So September.
I think it's a simple sort of move on to item number 8, which is public participation, an open question and answer session. So the question raised and hands up if somebody feels they can answer it, because I can't.
What sort of insurance have you got for them allotments?
They're all insured under the council policy. We've got public liability.
A few years gone by, my shed burned down, and I lost over £1,000 worth of equipment, roadways and all sorts.
Okay, so I don't know. I would have thought that would. I don't know the terms of policy.
I had a fine number given to me at the same time, and I told the policeman about it, that the people who set light the shed for themselves on the internet, bragging about it, they done it.
Okay.
And I said, well, you want to lock them up? He said, well, that's not evidence. So something was wrong there.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Diana from Plot 21. I just wanted to ask, I wanted to thank whoever arranges all the group discounts, because those are, you know, when you take on a new allotment, there is potentially a lot of expense. You try to do things as cheaply as possible, but as prices go up, so those 10% discounts are really much appreciated, as is the horse muck and the mulch. So I just wanted to thank whoever does that and ask if it's continuing, because they make a real material difference to, you know, because those things are just, they're just there, and
It's not me.
they're really important. So I just wanted to understand the history of that and the future of those things. And also I wanted to say that I should have looked into this and I didn't, but we have a friend who has an allotment in West Malling, and they belong to some allotment association, which costs each member £4 a year, but they get 30% off pink seats. And I was just wondering, in this, you know, it's sort of things like bulk buying, you know, and then access to these free things, and if there's any other facilities that we might be able to use, because we're a group, that help save costs and also foster a sort of sense of community in the way that we sort of share things quite responsibly.
Yeah. So the council is a member of the National Allotment Society.
Yeah.
I don't know about individual ownership, membership through, but I can certainly find out.
I mean, I'll find out what it is and I'll let you know, but I would like to understand a little bit about the history of the horse muck and the mulch and whether they're continuing.
Do you know?
That's Colin.
We haven't had any horse manure for a while, so I need to get in touch with him. But the thing about the manure, again, we wanted to change it to behind the fence as you come in. So we was looking to see if we could get, I can't remember his name, to come and clear to come and clear that area, because several people where we have the manure put now, if he could level that out and clear that out, want to have it as a community garden.
I think it would be a really good idea.
Where there's a few seats and people can sit, a few flowers and whatever. And I don't know. Quite a few people want to do
shed
that.
we can people make coffee or
I think it'd be lovely.
something.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I think and everyone we will be responsible for taking care of it on top of that you using, you know, doing their own plot.
I mean,
As a community garden.
I think we'd have to we'd have to look in how we finance it. That's the only thing. I mean, we can sort of do it and then split the cost out between the back lane, but we need to have buy-in from a number of people, or I can take it to Heritage and Townscape Committee and they can discuss it. There's a number of ways, but we can, it's how to finance it.
Yeah, I mean, with things like plants, for us to plant, stuff like that,
but there's Steve's time and money
right.
sort of doing that doesn't go away, does it?
No.
What about toilets? Is something impossible?
Oh.
Because we had an allotment before and the toilets are male and female toilets. That's shared.
That's a big spend.
Can anyone come and visit the Black Lane, or do you have a locked gate or?
We have a
locked gate.
Yeah, but a lot of the time that's open. Like if you wanted to come up and look round.
Might be really nice, or if you could exchange emails and come when you're there.
Yeah, well, I'm up there every day. So
maybe if someone else from our site wants to have a look.
It's, to be fair, it's normally, the gate is normally unlocked at about 7:30 in the morning and closes and it's locked again about 7 at night unless there's no one there. It's very rare that there's no one there. So,
well, if anyone wanted to come to our site, maybe they could email us and
You're doing it organically. Quite like
yeah, well, if I'll give Colin my email, so you can just say when you want to come and we'll make sure somebody's there.
You're quite nice to do on our WhatsApp group, would that
we also are organic gardeners, we grow 100%. So we'd like to see what you guys are doing.
I'll give you my email and you can just say when you want to come.
Brilliant.
Right. Anybody else? Any other comments? Gentleman at the back there.
Hello, my name's Vincent. Just one small point. It's a brilliant turnout, much better than I expected. I mean, it's a really good turnout. But still, I imagine most people are not here. So it would be helpful, I think, if, and you might be intending to do this anyway, if we could have a note going to all plot holders summarising what happened here, but in particular, I think emphasising both the rights and responsibilities. So, I mean, just mentioning about the discount in case people don't know and the other things we can have, but also reminding people of some of their responsibilities. I mean, my own personal bugbear, because I understand that people will bring cars and vans on the site to unload compost or whatever, but parking on the paths which blocks the paths, particularly if it's a large van, really is inconvenient. So if we can emphasise deliveries is fine, parking when it's not interfering is fine, but not parking on the paths that people use.
There is a parking area just inside the gate. If we could ask people to, if they're going up to the allotment to unload something, unload it and then go to the parking place, just inside the gate. Or
I think when we're up there, we want to be in nature. That's why we have an allotment. We don't want to be in a car park.
Yeah, okay, I'll make that note. I had an idea. Perhaps we could have on the day that we do the competition, when I found a day that might work, perhaps we could have allotment open day and people could, from Black Lake, go to Sandown here. Seem to get along.
Shall we going to stop growing cannabis?
Yes.
don't say anything about that.
The lady at the back.
Just a quick one. If I wanted to get a couple of chickens, do I need to get permission, or do I have to ask Colin, or just come to the council?
Not by me.
We went into this some years ago, and you are allowed to have chickens, but not cockerels, up to 12.
Oh, I only wanted a couple of chickens.
Yeah. But be aware
Yeah.
that there are, make it secure because there are foxes about.
Yeah, we can put it underground, dig under.
Could I ask, would you just let me know that you've got chickens?
Yeah, I was going to ask first. I haven't done anything.
No.
I'm just going to level out
I mean,
the
it
ground.
is part of the allotment legislation. You can have chickens or rabbits.
Oh, okay.
But because it's all for growing for pot, isn't it? So, I would just appreciate knowing which ones have got.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah.
What's the chance of overtaking up the allotment?
Excuse me, can the gentleman at the back speak? We are talking about pigs at the moment.
Well, I wondered if we could have some up there.
No, pigs are not in the legislation.
Rabbits and chickens.
Rabbits and chickens, no pigs.
Even miniature pigs. Right, anybody else? Any other questions? Yes. We're excluding sheep and goats as well. Right. I think at that point, if there's nobody else wants to raise anything, then the meeting, we move on to option number 9, which is date and time of next allotment meeting. May 2027, the date to be confirmed.
This time next year, that's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll type up. What I'll do is I'll go away and do a bit of investigation on some of the questions that you've asked. So you might not get I normally try and get drafts out pretty quickly after meetings, but this one it might be a bit longer. I'll do a bit of investigation into some of the things that we've talked about, and then come back to you with a sort of rough
you know, what?
Just one thing. If you're having a competition in September, the following May is quite a long time before you hand out the cups.
I think we'd have
Be on the day, wouldn't it?
If you're going to do it on the day.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so, I wouldn't want to wait.
And it'll be on the allotment, not here.
Because we had the meeting in September, then that's when they were handed out.
Do you know where these cups, if these cups
No, they
exist,
weren't.
where they...
They were one-offs. They were purchased cups.
Dare I suggest that we see the meeting move to September?
I think it is
Yeah, okay then. Well, that is the end of the meeting. Thank you ever so much for taking.
I've got application forms, I'm going to run to the office, I've got application forms for the fruit and veg competition.